Hello there. If you guys have heard headlines about the US airstrikes and Houthi attacks in the Middle East but don't quite know what's going on, this one is for you. Today, I'll be giving you a quick, clear update on what's happening in Yemen, why the US is involved, and how new groups inside the country are now asking for America's help. So let's start with the basics. The Houthis are a rebel group from northern Yemen. They began as a religious political movement in the 1990s, and over time they grew into a more powerful militia. In 2014, they took over Yemen's capital, Sana'a, and forced the government into exile. Since then, they've been fighting a long, messy war against forces backed by Saudi Arabia. Iran is widely believed to support the Houthis, making the conflict part of a bigger power struggle in the region. So think of them as a well-armed, Iranian-backed group that has held much of Yemen for years, and they're not going anywhere quietly. Now, fast forward to late 2023. The Houthis started launching missiles and drones at ships in the Red Sea, one of the world's busiest shipping routes. They said it was in protest of Israel's war in Gaza, but the attacks hit international cargo ships and even threatened US Navy vessels. Many of you may have heard of the US fighter jet that was lost off the side of a United States carrier last week while the carrier banked hard to avoid a missile attack from the Houthis. Obviously, this crossed a line. In early 2025, the US responded with a military operation called Rough Rider. Basically, a campaign of airstrikes to stop the Houthis from threatening global trade. Since then, the US has hit dozens of Houthi sites, but the Houthis are still firing back. They're still active and still dangerous, especially to global shipping and regional stability. Now, here's the latest twist. Other groups in Yemen, ones who also don't support the Houthis, are stepping up. One of them is called the Southern Transitional Council, or STC. They control the south of Yemen and want to bring back the old South Yemen as an independent country. Recently, their leaders and officials from Yemen's government have been visiting Washington, asking for help. They're basically saying, if you want to stop the Houthis, let us help. We know the terrain, we've got fighters, just give us the tools. But it's more complicated than that. These groups don't always get along with each other, and backing one might upset the others. Still, the message is clear, the US might soon have more partners in this fight. If the US teams up with these anti-Houthi groups, it could tip the balance on the ground. But it could also make Yemen's internal conflict even messier. And with Iran quietly supporting the Houthis, Saudi Arabia watching from the sidelines, and the UAE involved as well, any move the US makes could affect the whole region. So to sum it up, the US is already striking the Houthis, but now is being asked to pick local allies on the ground. What Washington decides to do next could shape Yemen's future and affect global trade and peace across the Middle East. But we'll keep watching and keep you posted. Want more clear, no-nonsense breakdowns of global conflicts? Subscribe to NeutralFront. We make geopolitics make sense.